and for your patience. There we go. We've just started recording. So welcome everyone to the first class of today. The instructor today is Geoffrey Selling in Pennsylvania, and he has a class with him, so you'll have people to watch. Just before we begin, I'd like to remind everybody to be careful in their own space and make sure you don't dance on your cats, dogs, children, or relatives of any sort, Lego or furniture. Please remember the silent auction. And a special message to TAC members. You should have received in your inboxes already today an email with information about Saturday's AGM, an event not to be missed, and a request for you to register ahead of time so that you can save time on Saturday. And without any more from me, because nobody's really interested in what I have to say, over to Geoffrey and his group in Pennsylvania. There we go.
Well, hello everybody from very steamy, humid Philadelphia. It's not particularly hot. We have the air conditioners and fans running, so you may hear some background noise. So I just want to extend an opening thank you to the people who've really made this possible. Ellen Sears, Marjorie McLaughlin, Kathy Simonson, whose voice you just heard, and Lara Friedman-Shedlov, who've really been working for months and months and months to make TAC Summer School happen. And they have a whole crew of volunteers, too many for me to name, but just a huge thank you to those people. And please, send them your thanks, acknowledge them. They've done a lot. Second thing I'd like to do is introduce, we have a live music today. We have Dave Wiesler. Dave, stick your head up here so we can see. Pianist extraordinaire. And you're going to hear some wonderful music. That's his encore. And finally, I've hauled in a class of friends, volunteers, and just quickly introduce you. Raise your hand when I say your name. We'll start over here with Chris Peterson. I'm just hoping I don't forget everybody's names. Terry Harvey, Catherine Giacoletti, Justin Giacoletti, they may be connected somehow, Mark Dorfman, Julie McRae, and Elena Giacoletti, and Cecily Selling. So thank you all for being here. Just a few kind of quick housekeeping things. The first thing is, just so you know, everyone here has been vaccinated, doubly vaccinated. We've all been past our 2-week mark. So that's why we're dancing inside without masks. And right now, we don't have to wear masks in this area. It's being encouraged more and more, but we don't have to. So we are feeling like we're pretty safe. These are all very careful people. Secondly, not only do we have to be careful in this rather small living room, please look around you, look for wastebaskets and chair edges and tables sticking out so that you don't trip or bang yourself. Most of us are dancing in unfamiliar places. And lastly, over the time of this pandemic, some of you have probably done a lot of walking or jumping about or kayaking or skiing or whatever you do. Others may have done very little. So please be very aware of your personal conditioning and don't push yourself too much. Take it easy, work your way into it. You don't need to spring for the highest pas de basques and the deepest jetés you could possibly imagine. Kind of work your way in, walk it if you need to walk it. Based on your personal conditioning and how much exercise you've had over the last 18 months, you'll have to make that judgment for yourself. But err on the side of caution. You have many, many months to get back in shape for Scottish country dancing. So we're going to warm up with a ceilidh dance called the military two-step. I'll be teaching it and demonstrating it. So if everyone could get partners in both your classes and here, if you don't have a partner to dance with, just do it by yourself, okay? And whoever's standing out here you'll come in and dance. We take shoulder waist position, and we're all facing the camera. Later on, we will do this in a circle. So just watch everyone even in this class here. With our outside foot, we go heel, toe, we walk 1, 2, and we turn around. We repeat that. Heel, toe, walk, 2, and we take 2 hands. So let's just all do that at a walking tempo. So heel, toe, walk, 2, turn around. Heel, toe, walk, 2, and take 2 hands. Now, that's the gentlest way. You can also add a little pulse without hopping. So it'll look like this. Just watch, please. Hop, two, 1, 2, 3, 4, hop, 2, pulse, 2, 1. Let's try to make a little music from you, Dave. Ready, and heel, toe, walk, 2, turn, heel, toe, walk, 2. Take 2 hands. Now, if you are feeling really frisky and you are already kind of warmed up, you can also hop it like this. Hop, 2, walk, 2, turn, hop, 2. And I'm going to suggest that people only try that if they want to. We'll do it one more time. And if you just want to pulse, that's the safest version. With music, please. Ready, and hop, 2, walk, 2, turn around. Hop, 2, 1, 2. 2 hands as partner. Now, everyone is going to step on their left foot. Just watch here. I'm going to demonstrate it. Step on a little kick. When I say kick, I'm not kicking my partner. It's step just a little cross kick and then step, kick, and then I turn the lady under. And I do 2 little side steps as steps, so just to keep up with her. Watch that again. Do the step kicks and step, kick, and turn the lady under. Let's do that much. Okay, everyone? 2 hands join, step, left kick, right kick, left. Turn the lady under, and you take social dance position, and you do 4 little 2 steps or polka turns. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's try it all together. Let's move back here. And try it once through before we put her on and let it roll. Okay? Again, be a little conservative, save some energy. With music, please, Dave. Ready, and heel, toe, walk, turn around. Heel, 2 hands, step, kick, and turn the lady polka. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you're feeling frisky, I suspect there's some here who they're going to do this. Just go back so you can all see. They're not going to go step kick. They're going to go jump, kick, like that. And some people just jump, kick 4 times and then go right into the turns. Up to you. So it's a Kaylee dance. So we have lots of flexibility. Let's get into a circle here. I'll call it the first time. Be careful spacing here, folks. We're going to do it 6 times through because this is a warm up. You will be warm. So Dave will give us 4 cadence. Okay, so listen for a ready and off we go. And heel, toe. Turn around. 2 hands, step kick. Lady under. 2 step. Woo! Heel, toe. From all of you folks spread out all over the world. That's the military 2-step. There's a lot of ways to do it. You Google it and just look, you find about 15 different versions. Several people say, when are we going to warm up? And are you warmed up a little? Yes. By the way, I'm going to encourage everybody, I don't know if it's what your weather is like, but please do drink. You know, I have my water bottle here. Have a lot of liquid and keep it going. We're going to do a little bit of a stretch out now and a strengthening of our core just before we get into our country dancing. So if you all get in a scatter, no partner behind me. And there are just a few we're not going to do a lot of teaching here, but I want to just make 4 little points. At one point, we're going to take our left arm up and over. And if you have your palm facing down, you don't get much of a stretch. If you take it with the palm up, you get much more stretch. Same thing on this side, so palm up. Second thing, when we do a plie, be sure your hips and tummy stay right over here, not anything sticking out. Keep everything centered. Third thing, let's see. There will be a few leg swings. You might want to hold on to a chair or a table or somebody. But the idea is to keep your upper body very erect and very unswingy, so you're not doing this, but just upright. We'll also do some leg turns like that. And lastly, a calf stretch. And I hope you can see my feet and legs. You don't want foot turned out. You want feet parallel and the back leg kind of turned in a little bit, if anything. So you're almost pigeon-toed. The back leg is straight and you bend here. It's often nice to hold someone when you're doing this for balance. And that just gives you a nice stretch in your calf. So just follow along and keep those 4 things in mind. Okay, ready? Okay, swing. 1, 2, swing over. A little faster. Swing. Swing. Let's do that again. Swing over. Now take the arms into a semaphore and twist to your right. Lower back stretched. And now to your left. One more. Now let's take that left arm up and over with hand to the ceiling. 2, and swing it around. Swing. Now the right arm, palm to the ceiling. Another one of those. Feet in second for a plie. All centered in. Ready to turn the knees back. In. Close first. 1. Now you're going to swing your right leg forward. And hold on if you need someone. That body upright. Close and switch. We're going to make figure of 8s with the right leg. Keep the body as still as you can. And close the other leg. You're going to point your right foot, point, and flex. Point, flex, point, flex. Close, change feet. Flex hard. Now we're going to just review our foot positions. 4th and close. 2nd. 4th rear. Close. 2nd again. Other foot. 4th and close. 2nd. Rear. And 2nd. Now we're going to go to 4th intermediate. Close. 2nd. And rear. 2nd. 4th intermediate. This is your jeté. Point. Close. Point. Rear. And now step into a calf stretch. It doesn't matter which foot. Turn in that back foot and the front knee. Hold on if you want. And switch. Lovely. Thank you, Dave. Wow. Drip, drip, drip. Well, I prepared
Geoffrey?
everything. I don't think I brought enough bandanas down, but that's all right. So
Geoffrey,
today's
just before
class
you go
is
any
gonna focus
further,
on 3 three versions of the same reel. We're going to dance a reel of 4 across the dance, really mostly through first, second position. And we're going to see how many of the older devisers solved some of the problems this has, and then see a modern version that solves some of the problems another way. Before we do that, though, I'm going to just kind of brush up our skip change a little bit. Can you get in a big circle? No, we're there actually. Spread out all around. We use the whole circle. Let's turn this light on over here so we got some light on the people down here. And I'm going to ask Dave to play 8 bars of jig. We're going to all just listen. You listen too. He always does a wonderful job of putting that lift in there. And then walk it, either just walk it or dance it with a lift if you have that, or a skip if you've got that. So let's listen to 16 bars and we'll dance on 9. Ready? And then lift. 1. Ready? Skip change. 1. Good. Thank you, Dave. Lovely. And you guys look really good for people who haven't danced a lot recently. You all have partners. Can you have the men face their partners in the circle, and the women are facing clockwise and the men anti-clockwise? Yep. Men are clockwise. There we go. Let's close this up a little bit. Okay. Now, can I take your place, Mark? I'd like you to just watch. We're going to just quickly review the movements of a grand chain, which will come up in this dance. And I'll need all of you to just help me with this walk. So we pass the first person in 1 bar. Right. Do it. The second person left, 1 bar. Now we have 2 bars on 3 and 4 for this right hand. 3 and 4. And now we have 1 again. Left in 1, right in 1. And now 2 bars for this one. 7. And we have to give that woman a polite turn, whoever the trailing person is. That's very important, especially in the dance coming up. You don't give her the polite turn, what follows will be exciting. So come back in here, Mark. Would you all face? Go back to your partners if you have them in this set, just so we know where we are. Let's spread out. Let's just try dancing that both in the video and the demonstration class. Actually, no, let me have you just have them demonstrate it. I want you to watch how when they take hands, they always come to shoulder height and they never pull down. They always meet and then release. So can we have 8 bars of demonstration? Ready, and. Turns for the ladies. Good. Okay, now we're all going to try it. But I wanted you to notice how the first 2 are really brisk, and then there's, if you're a little behind, there's those 2 bars to catch up. So take advantage of that. Another 8 bars, please. Face. Just face whoever you're facing. That'll work. Lots of them. There we go. All right, 8 bars, please. Ready, and. One more time and just make a correction I'm sure is happening out in both classes. When you give right hands, be sure you don't go just meet at shoulder height, but there's no little pick up. Let's try that one more time. Face this person, 8 bars, ready, and slower now, and wonderful. Okay, and now I'm going to ask all of the people dancing the men's part to face clockwise and their partners to face them. Now, Elena, can I take your spot? The people dancing the men's part are going to stand still for this. I'm doing the woman's part. I'm going to ask the men to stand still, and the women, I'm doing the woman's part, are going to just dance in and out. So right, can I just move you? Right past the first person and left past the next person. It's going to be a little tight in here, but the idea is to get that back and forth movement that comes up in a reel of 4. So, run in, thank you. And step away from the furniture. Let's try it. The men stand still, and the women, you're going to pass this person by the right. Don't worry about how far you go or how many you pass. We'll find partners. 8 bars, please. Ready? And. Okay. Now I'm going to make it a little bit harder and ask each of the gentlemen to take a 4-inch step towards the middle. to be a little tighter. And this is what I want to, Julie, can I take your spot? What I want to make sure that at all times as you do this, because this is going to be in the reel of 4, you're not kind of checking like a hockey player with your shoulders doing this. But you always keep shoulders and hips in the line of direction where you're going. So women, would you do the same thing? It's a little tighter. 8 bars, please. Ready, and. Ask all the women to step out and set it at Elena. Please watch just how beautifully she kept shoulders, hips, everything going in the direction she's heading in. So 8 bars, please. Ready, and. Okay, that's what we want from everybody. All right, thank you. Come back in. Now let's just step a hair out again. Women, you get to stand still, and the people on the men's side, would you do the same thing, passing with the right shoulder? 8 bars, please. Ready, and. Now we'll make it a tiny bit tighter, 4 inches, women, move in just a little bit. And make sure the shoulders and hips are going in the direction you're moving. 8 bars, ready, and. Lovely. Can you take a partner, this partner, I think, and form into sets, please? Unless you've already danced something with this person all the way. This looks good. And we're now going to move into this reel of 4. And what's interesting, normally when we're in a reel of 4, we start with 2 people on the ends facing in and 2 people in the middle facing out. But here, if I can take your place, Terry, we have everybody on the sides of the dance. So part of the problem the dance deviser has to solve is, how do we get into this? And the way we do this is the first man and second lady take a tiny step to the left, don't do it yet, and their partners will shoot across and then slow down and give them a right shoulder. But this reel is progressive, so at the end, everyone will be in the position they're now next to. So let me just demonstrate that for you. So here we go. Everyone moves, and 2, and 3, and 4. Second man finishes at the top, and first man curves into second place. And when you get there, one's face down. That's just good practice for what's going to come next. So can we come back here? Thank you. Places. Terry, will you come on in? And let's have everybody walk that in both the demo class and in the TAC class. Just walking, please. Ready, and 1, 2, 3, and 2, 2, 3. 3, 2, 3, and 4. Remember, you're going to progress. So first man goes down, face down. Okay, come back and let's have you dance that. It's really important and nice if these 2 who take that tiny step don't forget to take it, but immediately the first man and second lady take that little move out to the left. 8 bars, ready, and. Face down ones, good. Let's try it from the new position. And let's have people who are in the TAC class and this class walk it from the new position. This diagonal, tiny step to the left, the others shoot across and then slow down a little bit. Okay, 8 bars, no music, just walking. And 1, 2, 3, and 2, 2, 3, and 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3. Remember to progress. 7, 2, 3, and 8, 2, 3. And you face down. Good. Come back and let's have you dance that. Okay, 8 bars. Ready, and. Tidbit here now. Most of these reels are being danced on the diagonal between first man and second lady's place. We actually want them across the dance, and it's first man, can I take your place, who achieves that. We're going to start the reel, and I'm going to show you how he does it. So just walking, go, 1. And as first man gets to the lady's side, he goes up a little further, and that straightens the whole reel out. So it's pretty easy to do. So from this new position, can we do that and make sure all of our first men dance a little up on the women's side to straighten the reel. 8 bars, please. Ready, and. ones facing down. Now, at this point, I'm going to ask our fourth couple to just stand and be a couple, move down just a hair so we have as much space. Because as we get done with this reel, we have a grand chain, and we've already practiced that. So I'm going to have this class and this class dance it. Remember, you have to really take off on 1 and 2, and then you have catch-up time. And be sure this first woman here, right? She gets that polite turn. You'll see why. Okay, so let's have the grand chain. Ready? And now catching up. Right turn to the lady. Good. Okay, now just rotate that couple to the bottom. Now I'm going to ask that we put those two figures together, and we are working into a dance called Toddlin Hame. And I'll say a little bit more about the dance, but we're ready for the music for it. So you'll now be dancing Toddlin Hame. Fourth couple, you'll be standing out here. Reel 4 across the dance, right into that grand chain. Let's have 16 bars. Ready? And here it comes, grand chain. Okay, that looked very nice, and you really don't want to get it to look like this, which it very easily can in the grand chain. So really keep yourself going. At this point, the first two couples will dance rights and lefts. And it's something we all know about. Can I take your spot a moment? Just a reminder, just this before we'll demonstrate. Be sure you always go to the corners. We give a right hand 2 bars and we're there. Now we're ready to give a left. And again, going to the next corner, not making it round. And again, the hands meet like a grand chain at shoulder height. And then we have that polite turn again for that same lady or dance. Okay. So let's dance in this class, rights and lefts at the top and bottom, and your rights and left with as many people as you have. So 8 bars, please. Ready, and. The only problem with teaching the class, I don't get to dance with these beautiful dancing people. You guys look great. Okay, ending figure. This is a wonderful little solo. Please watch. Harry, can I take your place? Okay. The ones have a little solo after all that scurrying around. The ones give mirror hands dance down between the 3s and cast up. And they come in, give mirror hands, and dance casting off at the top. But there is one thing I want to have often seen. I'm going to do it facing the camera. As people come up, they often do this, kind of a little flick of the hand. And keep the hand at chest height up, eyes meet, but don't flick the hand there. So let's just have our ones in all the sets, TAC and the video set here, the demo set. Let's have you all dance that last 8 bar, just the first couple. Ready? And. Nice. Step to the bottom here. And then we'll just dance it once through all the way to make sure we've sorted out all the bugs. And so we have that reel 4 where these two take that tiny step. We have the progression and then into that grand chain, no hands waving in the air. And that polite turn for the woman, so if she doesn't get a full polite turn, she ends up trying to start the rights and lefts like this. That's why she needs a full polite turn. Rights and lefts, so that everyone can relax as the first couple does their solo going down first. So 32 bars, ready, and. Chain, here it goes. Toddlin Hame 2 times through. If you're running out of gas, do it once. And in this case, on that last little pass at the end of the figure, you just can pass to the bottom. And 3s and 4s will need to step up for the chorus. So a new reel. Remember, the folks stepping up instantly in the reel. So it happens quickly. So 2 times with a bow and a curtsy. Oh, I wanted to say one thing about this dance. Toddlin Hame just sounds like the perfect dance for having at the end of a program or a ball. And in my younger, more naive days, I did that. And there was utter chaos on the dance floor. It was 4 in the morning after, it was a Hogmanay ball here in the Delaware Valley, which is legendary. But the reason is there's a lot of little connections, and starting that reel is actually quite tricky. So if you choose to program Toddlin Hame, put it pretty early in the evening. Don't think, oh, isn't that sweet? They're going to toddle on home after this dance. They will limp home if you have them do it at the end. So with a bow and a curtsy, Toddlin Hame begins reel of 4. Wonderful music, Dave. Now I know some of you may have to take a little refreshment break, maybe visit the restroom or something like that, and that's what these folks are going to do. And Dave is going to just tell, for those of you who are just sitting and watching, tell you a little bit about the wonderful music he just played.
Hi, I'm Dave Wiesler. I'm the pianist for today. I live in Newark, Delaware, so it's about an hour drive up to Philadelphia for my branch. Toddlin Hame, as those of you who know Geoffrey know that he likes traditional music quite a lot. And Toddlin Hame is one of those strong traditional tunes. He asked me to play it twice, but it's a 16-bar tune, and so I thought this would be confusing to play the same tune 4 times in a row, essentially, so I switched keys halfway through. It's something that I actually might do in a dance because it's a pipe-accessible tune. I play a lot with a band that has pipes in it, and so we would play this typically with my band Thistle House with the large pipes coming in at some point. Toddlin Hame.
And Dave certainly played that beautifully. It's just so much energy. Even if people hadn't been dancing quite a bit in the last few weeks or months or even a year and a half, I think that would have just lifted them right up. We're going to move on into some Strathspey now and see that reel of 4 danced in a slightly different way. So can I bring our dancers back? And Dave, can you play 8 bars of Strathspey to kind of get us in the mood? Big circle, please. Of not going to class, for most of you, I think step practice is not particularly what we need right now. We're just going to use what you know about Strathspey. I'm going to have everybody just dance in a circle, with no partners, going this way, just to kind of get it into their bodies, into their rhythm, into their head. And would you do the same thing? So 8 bars of just lovely flowing, but don't make it too intense Strathspey. Ready? And... form yourselves into a set, and we'll form into a set here. And we're going to do an 18th century version of that reel of 4, a different one, and it is progressive, like the same one. And I'm going to take, let's see, first man's place, if I might. Thank you, Justin. And in this one, the 2s just stand still for 2 bars. And the first couple pass each other with the left shoulder. The man dances down and then up. And we don't really start the reel until this point, bar 3. And we all were trying this beforehand and found there's lots of time, so don't hurry along. We're going to dance the reel. And at the end of it, the first man must curve to the left and the second woman curves to the left to progress, just like we did in the last dance. Okay? And there's lots of time for that. So we'll come back here. Can we have this 1s and 2s, 3s and 4s, and in our TAC class, say if you have a bunch of people, use as many as you can. So 1s and 2s, say just the 1s, pass left shoulder, 1, 2, and stop there a moment. So you're in line for the reel. Now you have 6 bars, everyone reel. 3, 4, 5, 6, progress, 7, and 8. Come back to your places and let's try dancing that. It's very hard to, if you're a well-trained dancer, as these folks are, to not dance at the beginning of bar 1, but you have to resist that. So 8 bars, please. Ready, and lots of time. Now you all reel. If you have a group of people, you would be in a different place. I'd like to try it in all the classes in a new place. And just walk it, the new ones, pass left shoulder with each other. Man, go down pretty far and then come up. And you're in line, and then you all reel together. And you're going to have to remember that you progress at the end. And progressing means that the first man, this is the first man, and the second man, in by the left shoulder. They kind of resist that temptation at the end of the reel to put that final right shoulder loop on. Come back, please. Let's dance it in all the sets. Make this set a little bit wider if you can. Don't have a lot of space in our living room. 8 bars. Ready, and everyone. In progression. Dance, the first couple will do that with the second couple, and then they'll do it with the third couple. So let's actually bring on the tune for our dance, which is from book 28, Mairi's Fancy. And I think we'll have you and the demonstration class all do it together. It's the exact same thing once and then again, and that will put the first couple in 3rd place. So we have 16 bars, please. Ready, and looked in your house, but let's just assume that went pretty well because it's very similar to the last reel. Now that's the middle of the dance. Now we have to put the beginning and the ending on, and since you're at bar 24 right now, we might as well put the end on. Can I rotate that couple to the bottom? So you're the new ones. Please watch, and I will demonstrate in a loud voice so you can hear me. Can I take your place, Mark? The 2s, see, the 3s and 1s take hands on the side. It's a very traditional ending. We step right and left. The 1s will cast up as the 2s step, the 3s step down. 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. And all 3 couples turn with 2 hands. And please wait before we do it. Not hands like this, but rounded as if you have a beach ball. So all together we turn 1, 2, 3, release and curve out. So can we go back in this set to where we were? Can we demonstrate that? Can I ask our TAC class to just watch the demonstration here? So can we have the last 8 bars of the dance, please? Ready? And step down or cast. And the 2s wake up. 1. dancing together. So let's just have whoever the one punch in, someone else move up into third place, okay? So you get a chance to do it. There we go. So you're the new ones. Let's do it. You dance it and you dance it. 3s and 1 set. 8 bars, please. Ready, and pass or step down. All together. So you now know the last 3/4 of the dance. We just have to put the beginning on. And it's a very simple and traditional beginning. Can I take your place, Kathy? It's something that's repeated once. So the first man and second lady will step to each other. They will cast the woman up, the man down as their neighbors step up or down. And then the new second man, first woman step and cast as the partners step back. And I just want to quickly, I want to just review the step up and down. It's not shuffle, 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 but even if you're dancing by yourself, this is part of the dance. So we'll take hands all the way up and down, and we're going to all step up together. Take the upset foot, and it's up and cross and back, and we're looking at our partner. Sorry for having my back to you. Okay, so just remember when you step up or down, you have that. So let's have our first 2 couples. Actually, why don't in this set, first 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s can practice that just for the fun of it. First man and second lady. Let's have the first 8 bars, please. Ready, and. And the other 2 set. Beautiful step ups or downs. I noticed something. I don't know if even anyone else noticed it. Is these two started to cast. They didn't just turn away. There was just a momentary catching of the eye. Said, "We've got this," and that's what makes good dancing. In those little tiny moments. Okay, so let's try the dance twice through. It's called Mairi's Fancy. It's from book 28. I will remind you because I put it together in a rather funny way. So the first man and second lady set and cast. Their partners step up or down, and then the other 2 set and cast. Then we go into that reel where the 2s stand still for 2 bars as the 1s dance around each other left shoulder. Make the set a hair wider if you can here. Okay, so dance around each other, and then the reel of 4 is across the dance, progressing. Do the same thing with the 3s. And then 3s and 1s set, cast or step up or down, and all 3 couples turn with both hands. And in this dance, I'm going to ask when you're in second place, turn and cast and the other step up so a new couple can try it. Be a little bit budgety, but a bit more turns for everybody. So this is Mairi's Fancy, and it's a beautiful tune. It sounds a little bit to me like a Muriel Johnston tune with the notes going up and down and all over the octaves. It's just beautiful. So with bow and a curtsy 2 times, Mairi's Fancy. Set. First reel, 2 stand still. Second reel, 3 stand still. Lovely. Thank you, Dave. Wow. I haven't danced Mairi's Fancy since book 28 came out. It doesn't get a lot of airtime, and I think it's a neat dance, and it just shows another way an earlier deviser solved the problem of how do we get into that reel of four. Dave, that was wonderful music. Would you like to come and tell people about it? Get a drink if you need it. Stretch.
So Geoffrey had asked me to say something about each one of these pieces of music, and he didn't tell me what he thought of the music ahead of time. So when he just said it reminded him of a Muriel Johnston tune, I thought, bingo, that's just what I was going to say. The tune is a traditional tune, though. It's in Kohler, which is an old collection. Mrs. Findlay of Haywood is a very typical Scottish name with a somebody of somebody, giving them a place name as well. The thing that makes it sound to me like a Muriel tune is that it does go up and down. It's a tune that I think of as like really using the whole range of a piano or the whole range of a fiddle going up from one end to the next. I didn't know this tune before we started playing it, before he asked me to learn it. It's got a mixture of triplets, da 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 da, and 16th notes, da 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 da, mixed in there together, which is also typical of older tunes, and they're not typically played very often that way. So it's kind of fun. The alternate tune was one that I wrote called The Gum Tree. Thank you.
And I have to say, I think Dave's alternate tune just matched beautifully with it. He's a master at doing that, of putting things together that keep the same character but add a dynamic variety. Well, we're going to see one more way this reel of four gets dealt with. So can I invite back our demonstration set and invite those of you who took a moment's breather to come up, and we're going to get right into a set. And this is a much more contemporary dance. It comes from the London branch in the 1990s. And anyone who's a teacher candidate of recent years would know it because it's called the Westminster Reel, and it's one of the dances that's required for teacher candidates. Interestingly, it doesn't get done socially as much, maybe because people got it bullied to death on them during their training, but it's a great dance, and it's one of the unusual dances that has two different lead tunes. And the RSCDS has a sort of a pretty strict policy of only publishing one lead tune, but in this case, there are two, and the RSCDS published both of them. One of them kind of is an addendum in the book. And I thought I'd just let you hear them both. I'm going to ask Dave to play one, stop a moment, and then play the other. I just once through. It's just 8 bars, yeah.
Sorry. Right, okay, and then the other tune.
Boy, very hard not to be dancing in this class myself. This music is so good. So this is a two-couple dance. So in our demonstration set, we can have ones working with 2s and 3s with 4s. And if you are fortunate enough to have enough bodies to do that, please do that yourself. In this dance, and I'm going to take second man's place if I might. You, thank you. The reel begins, there's a setup at the beginning of the dance. And the setup puts the first couple, the second man and the first lady, like this. So because we didn't have to spend time getting into this, we're going to have some time at the end. And you'll see that we're going to put a right shoulder loop back into our places. We're not going to progress. So we're going to walk this reel. Now, here we go. Right on the end, left in the middle, right on the end, left in the middle, right. And now as the others are finishing, the first lady, second man, put a long loop there. So instead of having time at the beginning, we have extra time. And it's these two people. It's the people who will be in the middle at the beginning of the reel. So can we get into that position in all the sets, please? And in your sets too, thank you. Just walk the reel. But the people in the middle, raise your hand a moment, the 4 of you. You're the ones who are going to put that extra loop on going back to your own place. Walk it, please. And 1, 2, 3, and 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, and 4, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, extra loop, 7, 2, 3, and 8, 2, 3. And it's quite a rush for these two. And people sometimes don't get back. So you definitely want to speed that along. Can we dance that? So can the one first lady, second man get in there? Let's try dancing that with one of the tunes. Ready? And... And let's have the new first lady and the new second man step into the middle back to back. So you've already used up some of the music you had before. So you're the ones who are going to loop at the end into your original place. Walk it. And 1, 2, 3, and 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, and 4, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3. Extra loop by the right into your own place. Good. Come back, those same two people in the middle. Let's dance it. 8 bars, please. Ready, and. Extra loop. Teacher candidates might also recognize that from the dance Alt Shellac, where that same movement happens. If you're a teacher candidate, you've got plenty of time working on Alt Shellac and getting that last loop in. Okay, now let me show you the setup part of the dance. Can I take your place, Mark? Thank you. So we'll just demonstrate in this 4. The first man and the second lady turn with right hands with 4 skip change all the way back to place. Now the partners, first lady, second man, these are the ones who have to finish facing that opposite turn a little faster. And that puts us, so we aren't actually going to get all the way back to back. We're going to be kind of passing from here into the reel. So I think we can dance that into the reel right off without walking. But just remind you, these two, this diagonal turns by the right for 4 bars. This diagonal turns, it's about 1 1/2, 1 3/4 to get into the reel, and then go right on into the reel. And remember, the folks that do that extra turn in the middle, you do the extra loop at the end of the reel. So let's have 16 bars, ready, and. Into the reel, everyone, woo! Two people who are looping in, because you're going to begin the next part facing diagonally in. So, so I guess that would be you here. You're looping into place, and you don't have to loop all the way to face your partner. Just loop till you're facing diagonally in. And the next formation, I do want to walk with everybody. It's set and rotate, or we say on this side of the pond, set and rotate. But let's just review it. So you're facing diagonally in, and this is not how it's normally done. You usually just face across. So you set for 2 bars, 1, 2, pull the right shoulder back quite hard and dance one place along, change places up or down with your partner by the right, and keep going clockwise another place. You have progressed. Let's try that again for everybody. Walking face diagonally, stay where you are. And our progressed places here, set. 1, 2, 3, pull the right shoulder back, chase one place. Now change up and down and keep going clockwise. 2 of you have to turn around and follow your partner. Let's try dancing that 8 bars from this position. Notice that's the progression of this dance. So face diagonally in, let's have 8 bars, please. The third 8 bars. Ready, and. In these chase figures, it's easy if you're the person leading out to the line to kind of be a little slack about getting back to place, but the dance ends with rights and lefts. So if you're slack about getting back, you give a right hand to the wrong person. So you really want to make that chase figure at the end get you back to your place. So I'm going to ask for 16 bars. We're going to dance the set and rotate, and then we're going to go right into the rights and lefts, aiming for the squares, corners each time, and making sure the hands always come to shoulder height. So 16 bars, ready, and. Be sure to get home. Rights and lefts. Very, very fun dance to do, partly because the music is just so unbelievably energetic and cheerful. So we're going to dance Westminster Reel 2 times through. And what I'm going to ask you in the demonstration set is you just stay in your 2 couple group and dance it once from one position and then once from the other. And in your TAC sets, if you have a set, you can do that. Or if you're just a single person, you can just do it twice. If you want to challenge yourself, you can always, at the end of the rights and left, step into a different position. Maybe if you're first now, I'm going to go see what second lady's life is like, or first lady. So if you feel like kind of challenging yourself, that would be a fun thing to do, is just quickly at the end of the rights and left, scoot into a new position. So we're going to dance the Westminster Reel from book 45, although it was published earlier. We'll have a bow and a curtsy, and Dave has agreed to play both of the signature tunes. So you're going to hear them both. Lucky. Finish for the reel. Face diagonally in. First man, second lady turn. Don't forget that extra loop. Nice. Okay, catch your breath. Nice. Thank you, Dave. We'll do a stretch out in just a moment because we're coming to the end of our time. We did start a little late. I do want to just say an extra thank you. Our internet is very strong downstairs, and last night it decided during a Polish dance class I was taking to start cutting out, and this morning the same thing. So we've had a day of nerves and crisis here. And fortunately, with Dave and Terry here to help, and Rachel Pusey in the green room, which you all didn't see, we managed to get things up and running and the settings right on a different computer at the last moment. So thank you to all the helpers. Woo. So Dave, come up and tell them about the music a little bit, if you will, while everybody gets a drink, including me.
So the tune that's in the RSCDS book is called the St. Albans Caledonian Society. That's the first of the two that I played. The second one, which I understand from Geoffrey, was one that was done traditionally in the London branch, maybe as an alternate tune. It's called Ian Murray's Reel. Both of them are modern tunes. They're both in the same style. They match very, very well together. They have the same key. So you would ask yourself, what's the choice? Why would you choose one versus another to stick in the RSCDS book? It's an interesting question. I think that they chose the St. Albans Caledonian Society tune, probably because it has a little bit more distinctive flavor to it. There's a difference between the A part and the B part. And in the Ian Murray's tune, if you go back and listen to this recording, you'd hear that the B part of the tune is pretty much similar to the A part with just a very minor twist. And so it feels like it just chugs away, but it doesn't have maybe as much musical interest. That's my 2 cents worth. These types of tunes are very commonly done in Shetland, and they're sort of modern tunes in Scotland. They have a da-da-da-da-da-da-da feel to it, and with a hornpipe ending, bump, bump, bump at the end of every phrase. Thank you.
And just something to add to it, that when you dance this dance, as you just have done, I think you can see that the music really, it is not just a metronome keeping beat for you. It's really energizing the figures, and those transitions just come right out of the music. So we're winding to the end of our class, and we're going to just do a little stretch down, kind of as we did at the beginning, a shorter one. So can I invite our class back here, and just to make sure we're all stretched out. No comments to make beforehand. We'll have a little same beginning kind of waltz, please. Thank you, Dave. Whenever you're ready. Same movement. Swing. Let's do that again. to your right. Hold it. And to your left. Okay, now step into a calf stretch. A little longer now that we've been dancing. Make sure the feet are parallel. Bend that front knee a little more. And switch. Bend a little more. Thank you, Dave. Lovely. And big hand for our musician. Come on. Yay! And a big hand. We can give it virtually for all of you for coming. Thank you. And again, a thank you to everyone who has made this all happen and worked so hard all year really to pull this off. So thank you, everybody. More dancing tonight, tomorrow, an auction. Boy, TA Summer School is live and going. Thank you.
Thank you, Geoffrey. That was absolutely fabulous. And thank you so much to the demonstration team. It really made a big difference to have bodies moving. So much of the last year has just been imagining where all the other people are. And it's been wonderful to see you. So thank you very much to all the dancers, to Dave and to Geoffrey for a fabulous class. And at this point, starting there we go. So it's my great pleasure to hand the class over to Lara Friedman-Shedlov, who comes to us from the Twin Cities branch in Minnesota, otherwise known as Minneapolis, and
St. Paul.
And St. Paul.
St. Paul.
I know, that's the twin, the little known twin. And I guess, Lara, it's over to you. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So first of all, let me just share my screen here. And okay, hopefully everyone is seeing that. And I will just start out by saying that you should please feel free to enjoy a festive beverage and any other refreshments you might like. As you will soon find out, it's entirely appropriate for the theme of this class. The first part of the class will be mainly listening and looking kind of at some multimedia type things. And then the second half of the class, we will have a chance to do some dancing. So make sure that you've got some space appropriate ready for that if you'd like to participate in that. So on with the class. So this class is about and is called a Fete Champetre. So what is a Fete Champetre? It was a popular form of entertainment in the 18th century, taking the form of a garden party. This form of entertainment was particularly popular at the French court, where at Versailles, areas of the park were landscaped with follies, pavilions, and temples to accommodate such festivities. So you can see in some of these period paintings of the time, you get a little bit of a sense. These are all paintings of Fete Champetre. Here's another one. Well, the term is derived from the French expression for a pastoral festival or country feast, and in theory was a simple form of entertainment. In practice, especially in the 18th century, a Fete Champetre was often a very elegant form of entertainment involving on occasions whole orchestras hidden in the trees with guests sometimes in fancy dress. So what does a French garden party have to do with Scotland? Well, enter Robert Burns. Robert Burns wrote a song called Fete Champetre, also has another name, St. Stephen's House. And it was written by him in 1788 while he was staying at Elsland Farm. And it was written to the tune Killiecrankie. However, so it's called a Fete Champetre, but as was probably the case for many parties among the aristocracy at the time, the party in Burns' song was not purely a social event, but also a political one. So I did a little research on this song when I found out about it. And I found an article, an academic article by someone named Annabelle Patterson that was published in Huntington Library Quarterly that says, what Robert Burns clearly saw 1 year before the French Revolution was the socio-political meaning of that version as it was represented in his own country in the form of a pre-election garden party held by a young Scottish aristocrat who the song is believed to be about this actual person, William Cunningham of Annbank. Supposedly, the party was to celebrate his majority, but actually it was suspected it was to prepare for the coming election. So sneaky use of a garden party in order to court support for his political ambitions. So there is a recording of this song, which I'm now going to play for you. It is from a compilation of songs, complete songs of Robert Burns performed by various people, but this particular song is performed by Ross Kennedy. And he is well known. He was in a few bands, including the Tannehill Weavers. So I'm going to play the song for you. And I'm also going to show the lyrics to the song on the screen because it's in Scots. And you probably won't really be able to understand it if you're only hearing it. You might have slightly better luck by actually seeing it, seeing the words as well as hearing them. And you can hear, and you can kind of see that it's a very odd topic. It's a great tune, but an odd topic for a song, which is probably why it's not a very well-known Burns song. But here we go. Let me start the song. And I need to get it to the right spot here.
He clenched his pamphlets in his fist. Chase in Stephen's house to dear Aaron's man. Wobble chase in Stephen's house to the merry lads who wear man. Or we will send a man-in-law, we will send a soldier, or him who's led of Scotland or the meek Larson Major. Come while ye court a noble lord, or by a score of lairds man, or working honour on their word, or what shall be Glencairn's man. And gies him kind and gies him wine, and never gies him clatter. In bang with gas, the lady's test, he gives a Fete Champetre. When love and beauty heard the news, they gave goods among man. But gathered flowers and busking boors, they heard the blackbird sang man. About they sailed it with a kiss of politics they better. As there's a lane the pittance blessed, they hold a Fete Champetre. Then mounted mirth and gleesome wing, her Howendale she flew man. Out Wimpenburn, of Crystal Spring, out Glen and Shaw she knew man. She summoned every social sprite that sports by wood or water, on the bonny banks of air to meet and keep his Fete Champetre. Called Boreas was a boisterous crew, but Brutus takes the Cayman, and Cynthia's car a silver foo climbed up the starry skies man. Reflected beams dwell in the stream, or down the current shatter. The western breeze still through the trees to view this Fete Champetre. The ropes and gaily floats, what sparkling Joe's glance man, to harmonies and chanting notes as moved the mazy dance man, echoing with the wine that blood like paradise that glitter. When angels met at Adam shed, they had the Fete Champetre. When politics tekst kom der til Max, en Majas allersten Mann. I Sockengrün, den Magigrün, und Antons von in Mann. He blushed for shame, he quoted his name, or swore to every letter. We humble prayers to chain and share the fast of Fete Champetre.
All right. So that was the song by Robert Burns. And as you know, Robert Burns often wrote his songs to go to existing tunes, and this song is an example of that. As I mentioned, it's to the tune Killiecrankie. So what's kind of interesting was when I went to look up that tune and sort of hear that tune, turns out that when it, at least the way that it's been recorded as its own tune, sounds quite a bit different. So here, listen to a recording of Killiecrankie played by Alistair Fraser and Muriel Johnston. Okay, so hopefully that gave you a good taste of the song, and you may have noticed that the tempo is completely different from the tempo that was used when Ross Kennedy was singing it. It's almost sounds like it's a Strathspey in the version being played by Alistair Fraser. It was actually Alistair Fraser, Muriel Johnston, and Natalie Haas in that recording. So we've got a French garden party that Robert Burns wrote a song about to the tune, to a traditional Scottish tune called Killiecrankie. Now, how do we connect this into Scottish country dancing? Well, there's a dance called the Fete Champetre. Actually, there's two dances called Fete Champetre, but the more well-known of the two is written by Barry Pretty and published in the Golden Oriole book. I'm going to stop sharing this for a moment here. And that is the one we're going to talk about. So, and we're going to get a chance to do it. It's a square set dance, and so it consists of 4 figures or 4 parts. So we're going to learn each of the 4 parts. We're going to try each of the 4 parts, and then if there's time, we'll try doing them all together, all 128 bars of it, but we'll just see how it goes, because it's a lot to remember. So before we do that, so it's not just that this tune or this dance was written to this, it's interesting to me, and let me just back up, so it's interesting to me that this dance was written and named Fete Champetre, which Barry Pretty specifically says in the notes was named after the Robert Burns song. However, he did not choose to use that tune in either tempo, which either one of them probably could be danceable. Instead, he chose an entirely different tune, which you're going to hear. I'll just play you a quick little teaser, and you can see if you recognize this tune. Let me just play this. So how many many folks recognize that tune? I think maybe a few folks. If you know what that is, go ahead and put it in the chat. I'll give you a second. At least a few folks say they know what it is. Yes, the Teddy Bear's Picnic. So I'm guessing he just thought it would be cute to have a dance about a picnic go to the tune, the Teddy Bear's Picnic. But I think it's, and yeah, that's kind of cute, but I think it's a little sad in a way that he didn't choose to write it to go to the perfectly good tune, I think, for the Fete Champetre song. Anyway, though, setting that aside, let's look at the dance. So before we get into it, I'm just mentioning at the outset that I am going to be using some non-gendered terms today. So to describe this dance, if you were at Ron's class yesterday, this will be similar, but I'm going to be doing a slightly different approach. If it's new to you, or even if you've encountered it before and you didn't like it, I'm going to ask for your flexibility and your open-mindedness to just give it a try. Ultimately, if you have trouble understanding my instructions or are confused about what to do, please just ask for clarification in the chat. And if I don't see it, my co-host will make sure that your questions get answered. So, and I just want to comment that I actually think that a dance in a square set is kind of an ideal situation for avoiding using gendered terms, because it's often confusing to know who is who and when we're in a square set anyway, because we don't just have one line where we have all the women and one line where we have the men. So in addition to the fact that people might be dancing in either role, regardless of how they identify, we have people scattered around in a square dancing in those different roles. And also, since this class is all about a garden party, the terms I'm going to use, I think, are especially appropriate. So what I'm going to be saying is that when we're looking at a square set, if you recall, you stand next to your partner and one person's going to be on the right and one person's on the left, right? So if you are on the right side of your couple, you are a robin, R for right and robin, also known as the woman. If you are the person on the left of your couple, you are a lark. Lark starts with L for left, also known as the man. Okay, so all you really need to remember is which role you are going to be dancing. If you are going to be a robin, just listen for when I say stuff that the robins do, which is the women. And if you are going to dance as a lark or a man, just listen for what I say the larks are doing, and you should be in good shape. The other thing you need to kind of be aware of as we start a dance in a square set is just knowing where your partner is when you're in a square set, which is next to you on the side of the square. So either to your right or to your left, depending which role you are, and then where your corner is. So as a corner is a different meaning in a square set, as I'm sure you all know. I don't think any of you are brand new beginners here. So in a square set, your corner is the person next to you who's not your partner. So they're kind of a person diagonally next to you. All right, so that being said, so we're going to be learning this dance via a video, which is not a perfect rendition of the dance, but it's better than me trying to demonstrate it I think it'll be much more clear when you can watch a square of a set of 8 folks dancing. And so I'm going to be showing you a video. So I'm going to share that with you now, and we're going to look at it piece by piece. So let me go back to the sharing. Okay. Here we go. Looks like I've got the right thing shared. So this is a demonstration that's performed by the Ribble Valley Branch's trip to Edinburgh in 2017. Okay, so let's look at the first figure of the dance. It's going to begin with the robins, or women, dancing a figure of 8, and they start by casting behind their partner, and then they're going to go around the next person and back in, and you'll see, I'll just show you in the video. And while they do that, their partners are going to advance and retire twice. So let's just take a look.
Just press the button.
So that's actually, yeah, so there's the first 8 bars. So they went around their partner and then around their corner while their partners advanced and retired twice, kind of to make room for them. The next thing is everyone's going to turn their partner by the right hand and dance back to back with them. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. If you haven't already tried it, let's go back and try. That's 16 bars, the first 16 bars of the dance. So it is the robins or women who are mainly active to start during the first 8 bars, but the larks are doing their part by advancing and retiring while they dance a figure of 8. Then everyone turns their partner by the right and dances back to back. So let me just back this up a little, and here we go.
Just press the button.
Okay, so there we have the first 16 bars. And the second half of this figure, each figure is 32 bars, by the way. So it's, you might guess it's, and if you guess that the larks are going to kind of repeat what the robins just did, then you'd be right, because that's what happens. So the larks are going to start similarly. They're going to cast, but they're going to be going around behind their corner to start. And while they dance a figure of 8 around their corner and then around their partner, while the robins are advancing and retiring twice. And then after that, the next 8 bars are a little bit different. Instead of just turning and dancing back to back, you turn your corner by the right and your partner by the left. So each of those are still 4-bar turns, but you start with your corner, then your partner. So let's watch. So there's the first 32 bars. It's figures of 8 with advancing and retiring, turn partner by the right and dance back to back. Then the larks repeat the figures of 8, casting behind their corner to begin. And that while the robins advance and retire twice, and then you turn your corner by the right hand and your partner by the left hand. So let's try all 32 bars, the first figure of the Fete Champetre. So I'll just come back here. And here we go. Starts with the robins casting into the figure of 8. Any questions so far? I meant to actually stop and ask about questions earlier before we got into the dance.
Nothing so far, Lara.
Okay. All right, well then let's go on to the second figure of the dance. So the second 32 bar chunk. This one is going to start with the robins. As you can see, at the end of the left-hand turn, they go a little extra because the next thing they're going to do is right hands across, just the robins in the middle. And when they get back to their partner, let's just actually, hold on one second here. I'm going to play this part back a little bit slow. And we'll just watch this. So they're going to dance right hands across, all the way around. And then they're going to turn their partner to form a star. So one thing I'm going to point out is that this couple, I think you can see my cursor right here, this couple has a little bit of issues in this figure of the dance. So you may want to watch this couple to the right. They seem to have it together. The couple here that's right in the front, unfortunately, get a little bit confused. So you might have better luck just keeping your eye on these folks over here. So again, it's right hands across and then turn partner, left hand. It's about 3/4. It's basically just as far as we need to go so that the robins are on the outside facing in and the larks are in the middle facing out, and you join up all the way around to make a star and you set. So let's just back that up a little bit. Not too far. I'm going to put this back to normal. Oh. Here it comes. Okay. So they've done the right hands across, turned into the star and set. Then the next bit, the larks who are in the middle, kind of back to back, well, they should be, except for this one, are going to dance out, straight out and face in. They're going to dance out and kind of turn to face in. And the robins are going to dance in to sort of take their place and turn to face out. So let's just watch. And they're going to turn. Okay, so let's go back and watch that whole bit. So that's actually 16 bars, including the turn, which is going to finish with the larks back in the middle. So let's go back. There we go. Okay, so this is possibly the most tricky part of the dance to explain, but I'm sure that you're all doing great. And since you're most likely the only ones in your set, nobody can tell you you did it wrong. So robins, right hands across, turn your partner into the star formation and set. Then the larks are going to dance out and turn to face in as the robins dance in and turn to face out, and everyone turns their partner by the right hand to end with the larks in the middle. And then you're going to repeat this whole sequence, but with the larks dancing left hands across and turning their partner by the right hand. And so let's watch the next bit. So if all goes well, you repeat the sequence of doing the hands across figure, the turn into the star and set, and then the sort of switching places and setting, and then turn, and you finish in your original places. And you actually want to finish at this point with the larks facing in, or the men facing in, and the robins or the women facing out. So you'll be ready for the next figure. But let's go back and try this whole figure all together and see how we do. So this is figure 2. I call this one hands across and star setting. And here we we go. Ready to dance the right hands across. Okay, how did that one go for everybody? Were you able to do it? Anyone want to fess up? I see folks are at least still logged in, so hopefully you're still with me and able to enjoy this dance. So we've done the first 2 of the 4 figures. Just as a reminder, the first figure was the figures of 8 with the advancing and retiring. And then you turn, dance back to back. Other dancers repeat that, turn corner, and then turn partner. Then we had this second figure where we have this robins dancing right hands across. Everyone turns into this star shape and sets. Then you sort of switch places with your partner and set. And you switch places and you set to turn about, and then everyone turns the partner by the right hand to put the others into the middle to repeat the sequence. So let's go ahead and try doing the first 2 figures as one chunk. So going back to the beginning, it's going to be the figures of 8. So it's going to, the robins are going to start, they're going to cast behind their partner to begin. So it's behind their partner, around the next person, and then, it's around their partner, around their corner, and then back to place while the larks are advancing and retiring twice. Then as you meet your partner, you turn them by the right and dance back to back with them. Then the larks are going to repeat by casting again behind, they're both going, starting by kind of going behind and sort of to the, well, they're going to go over their right shoulder. So it's the robins end up casting behind their partner, but the larks end up casting behind their corner to start. And then they dance around their partner while the robins advance and retire. You turn by the right with your corner and then turn your partner by the left. And then we get to this figure we just did. I will try to give some quick cues, but I can't be heard very well over the video. So I'm just going to give you a chance to see how you do. And like I say, I'll try and give a few quick short cues to warn you what's coming. Turn right and back to back. Marks repeat. Turn corner then partner. Right hands across. Turn to star. Switch places. Turn the larks in for left hands across. All right. How did y'all do? Everyone's still standing, I hope? Okay, let's move on. Let's look at the second half of the dance. It begins with a formation. that I hope that most of you are familiar with, Schiehallion reels. That's why we wanted to finish with the robins or women facing out and the larks or men facing in. So Schiehallion reels, if anybody needs a quick refresher, I am going to really quickly show you another video that is just a demonstration of this formation. So it's basically a reel for 8 in a square. It's a cloverleaf shape thing. Here we go. Let me just stop this share. And I'm going to share this other screen instead. Okay, so let's take a quick look at this. So what you were looking at there is what is happening. I'll back that up. Is that the dancers who start facing out, the robins, are going to make a loop, while the dancers who start facing in, the larks, are going to dance through the middle of the set to the next place to their right along the square. So if I was to slow this down and just like this. So the robins go around the outside, where the men go through, or larks go through the middle, and then they switch roles. So you're always chasing somebody. The robin is always chasing their partner, and the lark is always chasing the next robin. So you loop or you cut through the middle and go one place to your right. It's 2 bars for each thing. So in 16 bars, you should theoretically get back to where you were. And then they're doing something else. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing that. We'll come back to this other one. So 16 bars of Schiehallion reels is the next figure. So let's try that. Here we go. Okay, and as I say, the main point of this is to get back to where you started. And if you're dancing in a room by yourself, if you just make some loops and finish back where you started, all will be well. When you're dancing with 7 other people, it can be a little bit more important that everyone knows where they're going. But if you're not already familiar with Schiehallion reels, it will be a lot easier to learn this when you've got some other people to dance with. So Schiehallion reels. And you finish again with the robin facing out, because the next thing will be, you're going to just flow right into a turn by the right hand with your partner 3/4 to put the robins into the center to form a cross. So in this video here, and then you're going to set when you get there. So it's 2 bars to turn into the middle and 2 bars to balance in a cross. Then the robins are going to, they're already in the middle, they're going to dance left hands across all the way around, so 4 bars, while the larks, while their partners are going to dance around the outside of the set in the direction they're already facing, which happens to be clockwise. They're going to get about halfway around the set in those 4 bars. So let's watch that. And then the next thing will be to do right hands across back to places for the robins, while the larks who are on the outside are going to cast outwards and dance back where they came from. So they're going back counterclockwise. And then when you meet your partner, you turn them by the left 3/4. You've got 4 bars. You're going to turn them by the left 3/4 to places and set. Okay, so let's go back, and I'm going to just show that whole piece after the Schiehallion reels at normal speed. And if you're ready to try it, let's see here, 1 second. Okay, I think it's right about ready to start right here. Okay, so it's going to start with turning the robins into the center to form a cross. They balance in line. Then they're going to dance left hands across while the larks chase clockwise halfway around the outside. Then they're going to go back by the right hands while the larks cast back. And then everyone's going to turn their partners to places and set. All right, so that is the entire third figure. The first half is Schiehallion reels, and the second half is this cross figure with the casting around the outside and back. So there's just one more figure to learn. So let's take a look at that one, and then we can see if we can put maybe the second 2 figures together. Oh, actually, before we do that, let's do the whole, we haven't done the whole third figure with Schiehallion reels plus the cross. So let's try that. Okay, so it's going to start, we have like a 2-bar lead in here, and then we're going to start with Schiehallion reels. Here we go. All right, so that was the third figure, Schiehallion reels and the cross. And there's just one figure left. And I will just also say at the outset of this figure that this group made a couple of minor changes to the dance, which I'll just teach it to you as they're doing it, but I will then tell you how the dance was actually written, and I can show you a video at the end, another video that shows it being done as it was originally written, but it's not a very good quality video, so that's why I didn't want to use it for teaching the dance in general, even though this one does have a couple problems. At least it's relatively clear to see. So the last figure is going to serve, the last figure of the dance, the last 32-bar chunk, is going to start with a Petronella turn. So that will put the robins back to back in the middle and the larks on the outside, and then you set to your partner. So that's Petronella turn and set. Let's watch that. Then you turn your partner by the right hand 3/4 of the way, which will put you in your partner's place, and set again. Okay, so let's go back. So we'll put those 8 bars together. It's Petronella. Well, further. Okay, So you're going to Petronella into the middle, or into a, I guess into a it's kind of into a cross. You're going to Petronella. So the robins are back to back and facing out. The larks are facing in. Set, turn your partner into your partner's place and into your partner's place. Yes. And then set. So Petronella, set, turn, set. Here we go. Okay, now you're going to kind of repeat the first 4 bars. You're going to do another Petronella, but this time, because you're in your partner's place, it's the larks who are going to be back to back in this facing out, and the robins facing in. So it's Petronella, turn and set again. And this time you turn your partner. And here is where there's a difference from the way it's originally written. They're going to turn each other to their original places. So the way they do it is they turn to their original places and set. So let's go back and do all those first 16 bars. So starting from the first Petronella and set. There we go. Not quite. So they do this completely symmetrically. So they do Petronella and set, and then turn 3/4, and then Petronella and set and turn 3/4. And that puts you back on your own side. So I'll tell you later how it's actually written, but this works pretty well. Next 8 bars is going to be a grand chain. So it's just in the way they're doing it, it's 2 bars per hand, and they get halfway around in 8 bars. So let's watch that. So after 8 bars, you should be meeting your partner. And the last bit is you're going to go into, well, at the very end of that grand chain, I cut it off a little early. You're going to turn into an Allemande hold, and then you're just going to Allemande round the square, and they finish in a line for a bow and curtsy because this is a demonstration. So let's watch. Okay, so basically the last figure, the first bit is Petronella and set, turn 3/4 to partner's place and set. Then you're going to repeat Petronella, set, turn 3/4 and set. So that's 16 bars. Then we have a grand chain, 2 bars per hand for 8 bars, turning into an Allemande hold at the end, facing counterclockwise. And the last 8 bars is dancing around the circle or square, counterclockwise in Allemande hold. So let's just watch the whole last, or dance ideally, the whole last 32 bars. So starts with the Petronella and set, then turn and set, and repeat. The grand chain. All right, so that is our last figure. So that one is pretty straightforward, I think. So let's try and put figures 3 and 4 together. So the third figure, if we think back, that was the one that starts with Schiehallion reels. So first 16 bars are Schiehallion reels. After the Schiehallion reels, you finish with the robins or women again facing out, just as they started it. You're going to turn 3/4 to put the robins into the center and form a cross and balance in line. Then the robins dance, they have left hands in the middle. They're going to dance left hands across while the larks dance counterclockwise around the outside. Then the larks turn to go back where they came from, while the robins do the same, going back by right hands across to meet their partner. And everyone turns their partner by the left hand 3/4 to finish in their own places and set. So, and then we go into this petronella turn and set, petronella turn and set, turn and set, and then grand chain and allemande. So let's try these last 2 figures. So this is 64 bars. See if I can get back to the correct spot here. We're almost there. All right, I think I'm about in the right spot to start the third figure, which is Schiehallion reels, followed by the cross figure with the chasing. Here we go. Turn the robins in and set. And the cross or chain. Petronella turn and set. Turn and set. Repeat. Grand chain and allemande. All right. Hope that went well. Now, I can't see anyone, so I have no idea what anyone is doing. But I hope that you've been enjoying it. Who would like to try doing all 4 figures all together? So the whole 128 bars of the dance. Go ahead and use the raise your hand thing or type something in the chat or something so that I have some indication if there's interest in that. I know it's a lot to remember and to dance all by yourself in most cases. Okay, I'm seeing some thumbs up.
Positives.
Okay, let's give it a shot. And the rest of you can just enjoy watching this lovely folks, group of folks from Ribble Valley dance it if you're not doing it yourselves. So let me give you a quick refresher on each figure, and I will again try to give some short directions so that you, knowing that it's kind of hard to hear me over the video, just to remind you. So the first figure is the figures of 8. The robins start by casting behind their partner while the larks advance and retire twice. When you get back to your partner, you turn by the right and dance back to back. Then the larks repeat that. Figures of 8 with the advance retire, turn corner by the right and partner by the left. That's the first figure, and the turning by the left at the end sets you up for the start of the second figure, which begins with the robins who dancing right hands across. Then when they get back to their partner, turn them by the left, about 3/4-ish into forming that star with the robins facing in, the larks facing out. And you set in the star. So it's 4 bars to the right hands across, then 2 bars to do the left hand turn with your partner and 2 bars to set in the star formation. So that's the end of your first 8 bars. Then you do the little switcheroo where the larks dance out and the robins dance in to switch, and everyone sets turning right about. And then everyone turns their partner by the right hand to put the larks into the middle, and you're ready to repeat the whole sequence with the larks dancing the left hands across, turn their partner by the right into the star and set. Then you do the switch places and set, turning left about, and then everyone's going to turn into into the sidelines, ready for, with the robins facing out, ready for the third figure, which is the Schiehallion reels and cross figure. So that's Schiehallion reels, turn the robins in to form a cross and set. And then the robins are going to dance left hands across while the larks chase. And then everyone's going to switch directions and go back where they came from. When you meet your partner, you turn by the left 3/4 to your place and set. And then finally, the last figure, which is the Petronella and Grand Chain figure. So it's Petronella set, turn and set, Petronella and set, turn and set, Grand Chain, and Allemande. So, phew, that's a lot. I will try to give you some cues along the way. Here we go.
You know, just press the button.
Figures of 8. Turn and back to back. Larks repeat, figures of 8. Then quarter and partner. Turn the robins in for right hands across. The star. Switch places. Turn the larks in. Turn into the star. Switch places. Schiehallion reels. Run the robins in, across. Place your hands across. Turn and set. Petronella. Turn and set. Grand Chain and Allemande. Yay. Wonderful. Okay. Hopefully everyone survived that and enjoyed it in the process. I did promise I would tell you that there are a few differences in the way that this group is performing the dance from how it was originally written. So the last figure is a little bit, they've kind of simplified it, which I think works well, but the original version of the dance, at the end of the, instead of dance, so it's a Petronella and set, and then turn and set, but then instead of just repeating it exactly as you did the first 8 bars, the original instructions have you Petronella and set, but then turn extra, you turn to your partner's place instead of turning 3/4. So you turn 1 1/4 and you end up in 4 bars. So instead of turning and setting, you take 4 whole bars to turn 1 1/4 to your partner's place, and you end up facing a different direction and you do a grand chain. You end up, well, you end up facing, you face your partner, but you're facing the opposite way you would normally face because you're in your partner's place, right? And you start a grand chain from there and you dance the grand chain, but it's only 1 bar per hand, starting with the left hand. And on the last bar, you turn into the Allemande hold, and then you dance the Allemande around the square and finish by bringing the larks, bringing their partners in to face them for the bow. So I have a video where I can just show you that last figure really quickly, and you can just see how it looks. Let me find the right tab that I have open here. That's not it. Hold on 1 second. Too many tabs. Here it is. Okay, so I'll share this one and you can see how it looks in the as originally written by Very Pretty. And you'll see why I think I didn't choose to teach with this video. Because it's kind of grainy and color isn't good, but here it is. So watch. Okay, so I can share these links later if anybody, yes, it was very fast. I can share these links later if anyone wants, or you can probably just find them by searching for Fete Champetre, you know, on YouTube. That's where these videos are if you want to take a closer look. But that is our Fete Champetre for today, and I hope that you enjoyed it, and hope you had some refreshments to enjoy in the process. Yes, it was written by Very Pretty. And looking back at and there is another dance called Fete Champetre that's much simpler, that was published in the Scottish Dance Archives that I recently discovered. Very simple dance that would be suitable for beginners. This one is obviously a lot more challenging.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Lara. That was a lot of fun. I think it will make us all want to go out and have really exciting garden parties. But I've never encountered this dance before, so this is totally enlightening. Yeah, I understand the simplified version. I totally do. I think we owe Lara a big round of applause for not only teaching a dance without moving, really, but for manipulating all these amazing bits of technology, which clearly I can't. You know, we could use the exciting reaction. So if you'd like to give her a big clap, it's really quite fun. And it will be possible for Lara to provide the links for the recordings, and in fact, even potentially the instructions, because we will collect up all the dances that are done and make them available at the end of summer school, as is the tradition for summer school. So just before we leave, I want to remind everyone about the concert this evening. So please, the link has gone into the chat, so you can either, the concert is being streamed on YouTube as a exciting premiere, but you can also tune in to this Zoom room, get the link from there, and stay in the Zoom room and go to YouTube at the same time. Technologically, this is exciting. And so you can chat with each other in the Zoom link while you watch the concert. But be prompt, because the concert is going to start at 5. maybe 1 minute after 5, but at 5. And so you don't want to miss any bit of it. Lara, did you have something left that you wanted to say? Allison says, can I give you the link? Yes, the concert. Hold on. Oh,
Yes, the concert is also on YouTube, so don't mix up the links that I just shared with the concert link.
no, don't. Please don't. Oh, that's the auction. Sorry.
There was an email sent to everyone today from Marjorie from the TAC Summer School registrar, and that has the link to the concert also.
But you can, hold on, copy. You can also get, hold on, that's the, oh, sorry. Technology, yes, it's your friend. Oh, there we go. So the first link that you now see in the chat takes you to where the links to the summer event, to the yesterday's classes and to tonight's concert, those links are, and I've also managed to give you the auction, because we need you to go and look at the stuff in the auction if you haven't done that already. But the link to the concert is at this, right there. So if you go to the TAC website link, you will find not only the recording for Ron Wallace's class yesterday and the welcome dance yesterday, but the link for this evening's concert. They're all 3 of them there. So you might as well look at them all while you have the opportunity. Or, as I say, you can come right back here to this very room and join the concert from the link that will be in the chat then, and you'll be both here and there, 2 places at once, which is amazing. That's what Zoom allows you to do. So again, thank you, Lara. It's been wonderful. Thank you so much for doing this show for us, this lesson for us. And yeah, and I think that's all I have to say. So go home, have something to eat, have something to drink, and come back for the concert. So have a nice evening, everyone, or see you later, as the case may be.